Now I want to show you how I would do this patrons challenge. Lots of cherry flowers. The first part of the challenge, there will be composition. How you can select some of the shapes and let go some of the shapes. You have to make up your mind. You have to focus on what space that you're going to use, what space you're going to leave it empty. I already did a small drawing, figure it out how I'm going to compose it. I only select a few shapes in this composition. I'm making this to be the main objects and two flower buds underneath. And this would be the middle ground and also have a very soft background. I'm gonna do a simple drawing on this watercolor paper before I start the painting. Put down the location of the big masses, the big items. Like say this is the flowers in focal point. At this point, just focus on how big that flower would be. This just looks like half of the page. And I want to move it a little bit to the right, make it a little bit smaller. So if you don't pay attention to those fundamental issues at the beginning and try to rush to draw the details, and you know what's going to happen. And your composition is not going to be as attractive as you intended to be. This is the flower bud. Okay. Make sure the size, the location is what you want. Keep a little rough. Focus on the composition. This is another flower in the midground. And I come down here, it has another flower. It's very soft. Like here. Now on this side it's very blur, soft, very distant. Like that. Now this is good, and I'm gonna give it a little bit the indications of this flower in here in the middle has a few of the details. I draw a few lines, and then there is a coming in and coming out, and focus on the shape. You can make modifications when you are doing the paintings. You don't have to stick with the plan and focus on the energy. Okay. And now come into this main flower, and let's see. I need to do a little bit more suggestions, indication before I do the painting. Okay. And again, the reference only serve as a reference image. You don't have to be, if you see something, you can actually change it for better. Go for it. Okay. I'm using a 3B graphite pencil. As you know, regularly I don't use graphite pencil to draw before the watercolor painting, but for these demonstrations, and I want to show you, if you do use graphite pencil to mark some details before you paint, drawing study, and combined with the reference details. So this, and I have some I'm gonna put some yellow and some details over here. And what I'm gonna do before I start the watercolor painting, I want to masking those details in the middle. And this will be the only flowers that I will use masking technique, because I want this to be very special, very different from the rest, so that when the viewer is seeing this painting, they see that, oh yeah, this is the focal point, is no doubt. And I come down to this flower bud. I'm gonna give a little details. Like that. Probably do want to do a little masking over here. Masking fluid is helpful to reserve some space that not being painted on, so you can isolate those issues and tackle them only when you are finished the big composition. Like that. Next, I'm going to do the masking. I'm first gonna wet the brush and then apply some soap. I don't need that much, so I'm putting it on the side over here. Now I'm gonna start dip a little masking fluid. Now I'm gonna do it. This. Only mask the area that I want it to protect. Just put a few dots. Now I come down over here, I also mask some area here. That's good. And let's make a couple over here. I think that's good. And I'm gonna wash my brush. I use a different water container for washing the masking fluid. So I don't want to use this water, which is I'm gonna use for painting. Next, I'm gonna start painting. First, I'm going to wet the paper first. But when I wet the paper, I'm going to wet outside of these three main objects. So let's see. Try to protect that so the wet color is not going to come into three main objects, which is the focal point. So when I wet here, I'm going to wet outside of the shape. Okay, looking at your drawing and your reference, so you can make sure you got the correct edge. Keep going on this side. I call this process also wet masking. So you are actually reverse masking. You wet the areas that you want the color to get to. So the dry area that never been wet actually would be protected. Like that. Now this is good. Now I'm going to wet the rest of the paper. So when I paint, I'm going to start from the distance, the background flowers. And am I going to actually take out some of the flowers, take out some of the water in this area, because I want this to be a little bit not so wet, because this is what the mid-ground objects. I want to take some wet out, but not totally dry. It's already wet the paper, but I just get the excess water out from this area. Well, this is good. So when I'm gonna start painting, I'm gonna even put more water in this area so that it will be softer. So this is good. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this number 12 sable round brush. I'm gonna take this Windsor red. I get a little magenta colors, a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put it into the background area because there's lots of wet, lots of water in here. It actually create the illusion of far away in the distance. Also going to go around the edge of these flowers in the midground. Like that. I'm going to add a little bit more deeper colors later after it dries. I'm going to add drop in a little yellow colors. I'm going to drop in this area so you can see some variation of colors and in the distance. The value is very similar. Okay, this is good. We can do a little cleanup if we need to, okay, after it dries. I'm gonna add a little bit lighter color over here so it looks like something even softer and fade away in the background. Okay, now I'm gonna come into this flower, which is in the midground. I'm gonna take this color. The paper quite wet still. as I paint from the very background object first, and then getting as the time running, the water get a little drier and drier, the paper get drier and drier, and that means the edge would be less and less soft. Well, this is good. We try to make the illusion of that some softer in the background. And I'm gonna come into this object down here. This is all cherry flowers, and the colors are very similar. This is why the value difference is very important to create the details. I make small color as I go. Okay, here you go. And I'm going to this side. I'm gonna make this areas even a little bit darker. So because the main flower is going to be lighter, so and make sure there is enough contrast. Okay. Make it a little bit gray. I'm gonna take this neutral color and come in here, make it a little bit gray. Now come back to the fresh colors. A little soft colors over here. Like that. Okay, this is good. The very good first round. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start lifting up some colors. First here, I want to lift up some color to create the separation between the mid flowers and the background. Okay, you can do it a little quicker. And I'm gonna add some color back to this side of this flower. And I want that to be so much different, so I'm gonna soften the edge. Now I come to the top flowers. I want this side have a little bit lighter, so just use the clean brush to let go some of the flower, some of the colors. Depends on how much contrast you want to give it to. More contrast, more difference, more details, we're actually suggesting the distance of this flower. At the same time, I'm going to let go of the accumulating excess colors over there. Okay. At the same time, I'm probably going to add a little color to for the details. I don't really need lots of contrast, just a little bit. A little bit here. If you think the color is a little bit too much, you can just let it go. Use the lifting off technique to take out the colors. This is good. I want to add a little, drop in a little color over here. I think this is the good color. And for those small line, I need a little bit more color because otherwise the area would appear too dry and it looks like just taking out the colors. I need to drop in the color coming in. Like that. Keep it a little soft. This is good. And I put a little bit, compared to that line, I want a little bit solid colors. I'm gonna take this color, have a little bit red over here. That's good. Now I'm gonna drop in the dot. Feel that. You can just put on some random. Okay, now I come down to here. That's good. I want to have some is a little bit more dense. A little bit dense area. Good. Give a little bit more, look like a little bit more green colors here. Give a little green. Okay, good. You don't need to overdo. Just good enough. Okay, also down here I have the similar effect and colors here. I just want to, could be, doesn't really need to be so clear. I'll make a little orange colors. That a little bit over here too. That's good suggestions. Now this is good. And I'm going to leave it the way it is, let it dry. And then I come back to working into the main objects. And also do a little modifications for other areas if I need to.